Whistle while you work. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Get some guiding principles out of the way. Housekeeping. This is a learning live. It's a learning live. So get some note taking materials, physical or virtual. Y'all gonna learn today. Y'all gonna learn today. Yes. You also will need a second device in the event we finish early. There are some YouTube videos that we're going to take a look at. However, if we don't make it, that's okay. You need a second device, and it's going to go to the turnarounddoctor.com website. It's going to go to the page, the 74 Principles of Real Leadership. And you're going to scroll on down to Leader Led, and we are on number 15, Leveraging Strengths and Understanding Weaknesses. Go ahead on your own and inhale and exhale 3 times. Let's take some cleansing breaths just to calm our mind down because we're going to be using it today. Good morning. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your Monday morning mental workout. Today, we are going to be discussing the principle of real leadership, leverage strengths, and understand weaknesses. Now, how did we get here? We got here through neurogenesis. Nice little new creation of neurons, like ding, 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 ding. And those neurons are creating new neural pathways. And you take that, you combine it with the theory of personal accountability, as well as the 74 principles of real leadership. And where do you end up at? You end up at neuropability. And that's the brain's ability to wire itself using the 74 principles of real leadership day in and day out to create unlimited neural pathways so that you can become your best day in and day out. And how do we do this? We do this in the executive function of our brain, which is located in the frontal lobe. The executive function is referred to as the CEO of the brain. So without further ado, let's use our brains today. Leverage your strengths and understand your weaknesses. Now, for those of you who want to understand the 74 Principles of Real Leadership and get an overview, just go to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership playlist right here on YouTube, and you can start with the overview, and then you can catch yourself up at your leisure. Today, we are talking about leverage your strengths and understand your weaknesses. One of the choices that I have made is to not only review each individual principle of real leadership, but to define each individual word so that you can understand that principle in its totality. My book, Real Leaders Wear Pink, was written in 2008, published in 2009. Should you decide to get a copy, it's online. Wholesalers sell it. I don't sell my book anymore. Have been asked to start selling my book again. Not going to do. Okay, Kevin, good morning, everyone. I'm traveling today and will only have use of talk text for the live today. Okay, cool. Got it. Thank you for letting us know, Kevin. So we will be going over it, the leverage your strengths and understand your weaknesses. Okay, book is on Amazon. You can purchase it so that you can understand the 74 principles of real leadership from their intended version, and the live playlist gives you their extended 2025 version of it today. Most of it, a lot of it is still the same. Okay, so leverage. The definition of leverage is this. The goal is to gain a better position or result. Leverage also allows you greater output. Good morning, Sabrina. Good morning, Regina. Leverage. The goal is to gain a better position or result. Good morning, Kyle. Leverage allows you greater output through smart strategic use of available tools and resources. And Sabrina is driving as well. Leverage allows you greater output through smart strategic use of available tools and resources. And we covered that before, earlier last week when we were talking about leverage experts. Strengths. The definition of strengths is this. Refers to the qualities, abilities, or attributes that enable an individual, group, or entity to perform effectively, achieve goals, or excel in specific areas. I will say that again. Strengths. refers to the qualities, abilities, or attributes that enable an individual, group, or entity to perform effectively, achieve goals, or excel in specific areas. Definition of understand: to grasp the meaning, significance, or nature of something, to draw a conclusion based on what is known. To grasp the meaning, significance, or nature of something, to draw a conclusion based on what is known. And I've never looked up the definition of understand before, so that was new to me. And I thought the second part was pretty cool, to draw conclusions based on what is known, because that's what I intended when I wrote this book back in 2008, published in 2009. And then weaknesses: the state or quality of being weak in a particular area, physically, mentally, emotionally, or strategically. The state or quality of being weak in a particular area, physically, mentally, emotionally, or strategically. So those are the definitions of leverage strengths and understand weaknesses. Now, when I picked this out as one of the 74 principles of real leadership, there was a book out that said, I forgot what it was exactly. Let me see if I can put it in here. It was play to your strengths, not your weaknesses, or something to that effect. I was in Women's Initiative Network WIN at Frito-Lay, and it was one of the assigned books for the assigned reading. And basically what that book said was, don't focus on your weaknesses, just use your strengths. And the more you use your strengths, the stronger you will become. The more you use your weaknesses, you're not going to become stronger focusing on your weaknesses. And I tend to disagree with that. Because if you don't understand your weaknesses, how will you understand who you are from a personal perspective? How will you understand everything that makes you you if you only focus on the things that you're strong in? Because the weaknesses are slowing you down at a minimum. So you can, at minimum, know what your weaknesses are. That's where this principle actually came from, because I was weak in reading. And if I had to just leverage my ability, the extemporaneousness of me and my math ability, and because I could communicate effectively, I could have been stuck at a lower level of communication because I wouldn't be reading. Therefore, I wouldn't be improving my lexicon. I wouldn't be a wordsmith. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do. And I would only be able to talk to a certain group of people because my reading was weak. That's the example that I always use, that you can strengthen the weaknesses, especially if it's going to contribute to make you stronger in the areas that you are strong in. That is the origin story of leverage your strengths and understand your weaknesses. Now, why do people, and then what questions do you have, if any, about that before I move forward? And if you have no questions, I know some of you are driving, you can simply say no questions. Okay, that is still too hot. Just burned the roof of my mouth. Yes, I did. Okay. I don't believe that I froze. So if just one person can type no questions, just so I know that I'm still. Okay. The definition of strength, please. Okay. Strength. Strengths with an S. It refers to the qualities, abilities, or attributes that enable an individual, group, or entity to perform effectively, achieve goals, or excel in specific areas. Refers to the qualities, abilities, or attributes that enable an individual, group, or entity to perform effectively, achieve goals, or excel in specific areas. And Sabrina says self-awareness should make you curious about your weaknesses in general. Yes, ma'am, that is correct. And I will be getting into that when we discuss why people don't assess their weaknesses. So yes, that's what your 15 minutes or more personal time every day is for, is to check in with yourself and see how things are going. Okay, and then Regina, if you could just give me a thumbs up to let me know if you have it before I move on. Okay. So why don't people leverage their strengths? Good question, Kevin. I'm glad you texted while you were driving. Voice text while you were driving. Why don't people leverage their strengths? Number one, lack of self-awareness. So a lack of self-awareness is the reason why people don't leverage their strengths. They simply don't know what their true strengths are. And without reflection or feedback, people often underestimate or overlook their natural talents. And I'm tearing up. So that means I might have a moment. Now, if y'all can believe this, I did not know how grand I was until, and today is Cinco de Slapo, 3 years of me having no contact with my mother and her ex-husband. But even in all the things that I was doing, everything, and some of this has to do with being an African American woman living in America, but all the time, everything that I was doing, my sister was saying that ain't shit. And my mother was lying and trying to make it bigger. So my actual accomplishments were never my own. And my mother did this with my daughter as well, which is the part of the reason why we severed contact once Nola started doing her business. So imagine this. I've said this story before. The standard for my sister and I was we needed to get, my mother is the second oldest of four. She had got married second and had children first. So my sister's the oldest. I'm the next oldest. My cousin behind me is a year younger than me. And then from there, the other three, there's this larger gap. So much so that two of my cousins, I'm old enough to be their mother. So the whole time my sister and I are first, and they're making sure we got to do all this stuff, do all this stuff. And then the boys came, and the standard got way, 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 way lower. Much, 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 much lower. So even when I was in high school, you had to have A's and B's. My sister, the standard was both of us have A's and B's. I go to a CTA, she goes to the neighborhood high school. When I get a bad report card, we both have the same calibration conversations, but I'm sitting here taking 8 classes. So from 10th grade forward, I had 8 classes the entire time because ROTC no longer was an elective. And so you had to have it as an extra class. And so I had what was called a 1 to 8. Every day I went to 8 classes. And I think I had lunch maybe 2 semesters out of the 4 years that I was in high school. And I'm taking the hardest teachers while I'm there, college prep. My high school diploma says business administration on it. I recently, as of 2 days ago, looked at my college transcript at Eastern and the classes that I was taking. I always had 5 classes or 6 classes when I was in college because ROTC did not pay for summer terms. So they only paid for fall and winter. So there wasn't a semester when I didn't have 5 or 6 classes. And the classes that I had my senior semester, first semester, they were insane. I was just, everything was 400. And my junior year, because I didn't declare my major, I was taking political science classes at the 200, 300, and 400 level in the same damn semester. Okay? In the same semester, because I declared my major later. Now, fast forward to the military, and I'm military having a tough time, and people are like, whatevs. But now I'm looking back at my life, and when I say I'm the baddest mofo walking the face of the planet Earth, I'm like, this shit was hard. I was looking at the classes, and it was criminal justice, international law, and all these other. I'm like, no wonder I'm talking about I could read. People can't read that stuff today. But I didn't know. I honestly and truly, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't know. And because my sister could read and everybody focused on reading and I couldn't, I literally was like, damn, I guess I ain't doing nothing. And now I'm looking back like, yes, I was. I absolutely was. So sometimes you are not aware of what's actually taking place. And because I was having such a hard time being an MP, I wasn't understanding that I was an MP. It didn't dawn on me that I was about to be a commander at the 101st at doggone Fort Campbell, if that's still the name. And none of that stuff dawned on me because while I was there, I'm getting hazed, I'm getting pledged, and I'm not pledging. I'm like, I'm in the Army. Why are y'all still doing this? So people made it hard for me. Oh, you want this? We're going to put every obstacle in your way that you can. So when you're trying to navigate over an obstacle course, you're not thinking about how strong you are because everybody keeps trying to make you weak and fall out. So there was no way that I understood. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, you a bad mofo. How were you in high school for 8 hours a day catching a bus? So I got to walk 3 blocks in the dark, get on the bus, have 8 classes, get back on the bus. And at some points I had a job. There were times when I would leave the house at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I would not get home until 11 o'clock at night because I would catch the bus from school to work at the movie theater and then get picked up and get home. That's bad. That's some strong, strong, strong stuff. Not to mention, I was in the Army Reserves in my senior year of high school while I was taking those A classes, running track and in ROTC and in DECA, doing all kind of stuff. So my point is, I was unaware of my strengths. Number two, focus on fixing weaknesses. That's what I was doing. I was literally focusing on fixing my weaknesses. So society, school, workplaces, employers, family, friends, everybody will overemphasize what you're not doing. They're going to overemphasize what you are not doing. Nobody was paying attention to what I was doing. Nobody was like, oh, you were a business administration major and you keep taking Dr. D.L. Gibson. This lady, I got a B, y'all, on my report card, and she said student is about to fail the class. I had a B in her class, and that's the comments that she put. Literally, you can see it. Student is failing class because she wanted me to have an A. So all of that stuff that was taking place, everybody just keep telling me what you're not doing. ROTC, they're telling me, Thomas, you're not running fast enough. I was running it, and when I was in college or ROTC, first of all, I was the only female by the time I became a junior. That's number one. And number two, they were running 11-minute 2 miles. I was running 15 to 16 minutes because I was a sprinter. And they were saying, you got to pick it up. I'm like, my heart is about to be out of my chest. What y'all talking about? Literally 11 minutes. And I used to be able to do 106 sit-ups in 2 minutes. And they told me that's because women have better hip flexor muscles and stronger abdominal muscles. 106 in 2 minutes. That's what I got told after I finished that PT test. Of course you could do more sit-ups. Of course you. So it was downplaying anything that I could do, maxing out my push-ups and my sit-ups. But no. You ain't running 12 minutes, but you're not running 14 minutes. Just downplaying everything. So I'm focusing on, one time I ran 10 miles on a doggone treadmill, getting ready for aerosol school because everybody's, but you're not. So focusing on your weaknesses is definitely a problem. And then you're, instead of maximizing what you're already good at, you're looking at this deficit. And so you can't focus on the strengths because you're still focusing on the deficit. And everybody made it their business for me to focus on the deficit. My Uncle Jerry told us that if we got a 4.0, he would send us on a trip to Disney World. I got a 3.8. And I was at basic training, and that's the only report card that I don't have. I was at basic training. I said, can I still go? He said, no, because you didn't get a 4.0 at my school with A classes in basic training on my way to award. And he said, nah, you didn't get a 4.0, so you can't go. Okay. Number 3, fear of standing out or failing. So number 1 is lack of self-awareness. Number 2 is focusing on fixing your weaknesses. Number 3 is fear of standing out or failing. People avoid their strengths because they fear attention, judgment, or not meeting expectations, especially if they failed before. So I have never been a person that I don't like ceremonies. I don't like being on stage. I'm an introvert, social introvert, and I don't like it. So every time I have to do it, even when I got a nominated for business awards here, and they were like, you getting women business and politics award. We know how you feel, but you gonna have to be there because the person that nominated you is gonna be there. I'm like, okay, got it. So anytime I got an award in the military, I'm like, you giving it to me on my way out. I'm not standing up in front of a group of people. And part of it is because now somebody's going to identify another flaw. Yeah, you got this award, but you didn't. Yeah, you got this award, but you didn't. Or my mother is going to overinflate the shit. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just opt out. I ain't going to be on no stage. So I only went to my high school graduation and my undergrad graduation. Didn't go to my master's degree. Didn't go to my doctorate. Because I'm like, I just don't feel like dealing with any of this because somebody I know or don't know is going to be pointing out what I fucking didn't do. Now, number 4 is lack of opportunity or environment. And Kevin, you have I'm, and that's it. So your message didn't come through. Lack of opportunity or environment. Even if someone knows their strengths, their job role or social situation might not allow them to use it fully. So there have been times when I have been in a situation, I know I could do a better job, and it's like, no, you're not the one. Eric Greene, who I wrote bitch on his car with soap. He got to be commandant of cadets because he had a higher GPA than me. Even though I was a PFC in the Army Reserves, he got to be commandant of cadets. He got to command platoon. So that's when I went to Sergeant Morgenstern and I said, I want to command squad. I'm third in command. I want to command squad. It's never been done before. Squad usually comes directly out of platoon, and then they do what they do. And he said, Sergeant Morgenstern said yes, and the rest, as they say, is history. Squad 1 beat the other 20 high schools, and Greenie's ass, commandant of cadets, did not win shit at all. We had the red cord. Bada boom, bada bing. Thanks to that half-right face. So sometimes you got to make a way. You got to MacGyver the shit out of that situation if you are going to be able to demonstrate that you are strong enough and you have the strength to endure and become your best in that situation. Number 5, I've been hearing a lot about this. Didn't know what it was. Imposter syndrome. You sometimes feel like you're not truly good at something, even when you are, so you hesitate to rely on it. So I heard about it. I've mentioned it in my video. People say imposter syndrome. I feel like an imposter. I feel like an imposter, but I didn't know to its full meaning what it meant. No, ma'am. Now you're about to make me cry. No. Not at all. I didn't meet the 4.0 criteria. So I did not get anything. Nothing. Not a congratulations, not a card, not a $5, nothing. At all. Nothing. Nope. Not a dime. Not a dinner, not a gift card to Hudson's, nothing. Because the thing was get a 4.0. And I didn't. Okay. So imposter syndrome. You sometimes feel like you're not truly good at something, even when you are, so you hesitate to rely on it. I don't know that I have imposter syndrome. I do rely on everything that I have, but some people feel that way. Potentially I could. Who knows? Cultural or family beliefs. So some cultural families have value humility or conformity, which may discourage people from showcasing their unique strengths. I don't know that we had that in my family. My mother used all my accomplishments as if they were her own and added sugar and salt to everything that I did. But I do find that when I was in my corporate job, if I did something on my own, it was a we effort and I didn't get singled out unless the shit went left. I do believe that just happens because as African-American women, we are tolerated and not celebrated in whatever the thing is that we're doing in our roles. And so that isn't me saying, oh my God, it's not fair. You've been programmed to do that because if you allowed yourself to understand how magnificent we are, you feel like we take over, even though we run shit anyway. So that's an interesting dynamic as well. So I don't know that I have that part either, but people do have that. So I'll go back over those. Why don't people leverage their strengths? Number 1 is lack of self-awareness. Number 2, fixating on the weaknesses. Number 3, fear of standing out or failing. Number 4, lack of an opportunity or the environment to succeed. Number 5 is imposter syndrome. And number 6, cultural or family beliefs. Sabrina says, I'm sorry, look at you now. You are a success and we pray for you, pray for your time. This is a golden and worthy recognition. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And more people outside have said it. And I mean, Jesus couldn't do miracles in his own hometown. And it just shows you. And part of that is so that when people say, well, I didn't have support and people didn't believe in me, so that's why I didn't do it. I'm like, I ain't never had a cheering section. Ain't never been a lot of people in the crowd going, you can do it. Go, Dr. Donna, Didi, Donna. So if you can do it with nobody standing in the stands, with 2 people standing in the stands or not, when you decide that you're going to be your best, it's a solo act sometimes. And that's okay. Because as Antoine Fisher said, what's his name? David Luke, I'm still standing. I'm still strong. And what I figured out, though, part of the reason why was because my Uncle Jerry was the person in the family that had the money. See, that was the cute cry. Had the money and everything. And part of the reason why he couldn't celebrate those things was because when he was in ROTC, he only made it to cadet major. And I made it to cadet colonel, not lieutenant colonel, but cadet colonel. So that was number 1. And I eventually passed him. And so that's hard to take when you're supposed to be the smart person in the family. You're the one with all the money and everything else. And now there's this shift in roles. So his objective was to, support enough, but keep his foot on your neck too, so that you wouldn't pass him and take his spot in the family. So that's part of it as well. So he definitely was gaslighting. They all, aunts, uncles, everybody took their turn in a unique and different way. And I have that story. Regina and Kevin can see it in my book. When my aunt turned 65, and that's the sky has no limits and neither should you. I picked her up from my house. I had my Benz at the time, took her to Somerset Mall, which is the bougie mall. We had lunch at Brio, took her shopping, and then I took her back to my 2,800 square foot, 4-bathroom, 3-level townhouse, and then took her back home. And so she got out the car and she said, wow, you have done so much more than your Uncle Jerry, not her husband, but her brother, could have ever thought or imagined for you. And I'm like, well, I'm glad y'all ain't really say that shit to my face, because you just done so much more than we could have ever thought. The fuck was y'all thinking? What was y'all looking at? What receipts was y'all looking at? So the guy that I was dating at the time, I got home, told him what she said. He was like, she didn't mean that. I was like, no, she did. And that's why I made it to the book. Because basically she was saying, your mama was a crackhead, your daddy was a drunk, and we both went to the same high school. But how the hell are you going to do all this shit with those as your starts? And so it made it to the book. Because she literally, her husband, not her husband, but they sent their son to private school. He now is a grocery store manager. No disrespect to grocery store managers, but he didn't finish college or anything else. And what I found was that they all had sons. None of their sons were doing anything, and they got real quiet the older their sons got. So there you have it. And karma is great, because my Uncle Jerry's oldest son is a member of BMF in Atlanta. Chickens come home to roost. Yes, they do. Yes, he is a 42-year-old rapper with BMF for life. Yes. So there you have that. All right. What questions do you have regarding why don't people leverage their strengths? And give me 1 second, because my nose is still running from all right, Regina might have something. So the point is, I'm just now 3 years in understanding the total that I am. Now, don't get me wrong. When I'm in the room and I got stuff to do, I understand it. But just in my downtime, because everything was downplayed so much that I have to, that's why you keep receipts. That's why I have photos and transcripts and my OERs and everything else. And I go back and look at those things, because for some reason, and the thing is, when you don't look the part, unaccountable people don't support you in the things that you don't look the part. Now, I'm not quite sure what the hell I was supposed to do. I think I was supposed to be a lawyer or a doctor, or I was supposed to marry well or something, but all of the choices that I made didn't match this, or being the youngest, or coming from Detroit or whatever. So when people don't understand it, they don't support it, and they make fun of it, and they try to get you to conform. And I don't do conformity really well. It's not something that looks good on me. Conformity doesn't work for anybody. And that's why today's PA for today and today's Real Leader Brain is flaws. Because people want to identify your flaws, but your flaws are what make you you. They definitely do. That is the 100% truth. So I do know, when I do say I'm the baddest mofo, I know it, but I don't know it to the level that it is. Because I'll use another example while Regina is typing. When you go in the Army, you go to advanced camp. If you go to West Point, you automatically get a regular Army commission. That means you are the shit. That's the highest commission that you can get. Then you get a inactive ready reserve commission, which is what I had, or it's a reserve commission. And then you get sent to the National Guard or the reserves based upon how you perform. So because of my school, and basically because of my school, and because of how many people had already had fives at camps and which branch they went, I had a reserve commission. So when you get in the Army, if you got that West Point ring, it don't matter if you quartermaster, AG, ordnance, or whatever, you the shit, because you went to West Point. Then if you have a regular Army commission and you didn't go to West Point, you the shit second. But then if you're just there and you went to Eastern Michigan University, which is the Mid-America Conference, and you get a reserve commission, then everybody's like, oh, so yeah, you got that reserve commission. So then you have to deal with that. Then they start looking at if you tabbed out EIB, Special Forces, Ranger, Air Assault, Airborne, all of those things. And then from there, now it's your MOS, and then it's your uniform, and then it's your duty assignments. Well, where did you command at? Where was your platoon leader? And when you have that amount of competition and people are saying, that ain't shit, or yeah, but you might be an MP, but you got a reserve commission. And yeah, your platoon assignment was in Korea. That ain't real combat. Then you go to Fort Campbell, and it's like, well, you're only here because of affirmative action. So it was always some other shit being said by if you're not at the creme de la creme. But now that all of us are out of the Army except for one person, yeah, we definitely, we different now. There is a difference. There definitely is a difference. And I was just passing through. Regina says, your example shows that we don't empower people. We don't encourage people, even as children, to achieve their best of their ability. As a teacher, I celebrated the students and their incremental growth. And I did have teachers that did that. But like I said, Dr. Gibson was my favorite teacher and she ain't like me, but I ain't care. Because I was still in every last one of her classes, asking a bunch of questions and getting on her damn nerves. Because I'm like, you're the only woman in the school with a doctorate. And other than the principal, you're the only teacher in the school with a doctorate. So I want to know what you know. And that's that. And we don't. And we do celebrate it if you fit the part. So because my sister was in dance workshop and because my sister was this high personality, we had to go to all her shit. Nobody was coming to my academic games. Who wants to sit and watch kids play the fucking math game with some dice? When people did come to my track meet, but nobody was there, band and orchestra, like, oh, we got to go see what the orchestra is playing. And very few people showed up at my ROTC stuff because how do you cheer when somebody's doing commands? So if you pick the thing that people are, it's popular, then more people are going to be there. But if you're disrupting and doing some stuff that could appear to be boring, then you're not going to get as much support. Yeah, well, we would come, but all of that, because then that would take you out of your own comfort zone. So if I was in sports, like I said, more people came to my track meets than they ever came to my ROTC stuff. Nobody came to my region competition for DECA because I was a business administration major and we won some hospitality and tourism awards. They weren't there. Nobody really looked at my photos when I was in a photo club. And it's okay. I mean, people didn't come to my Toastmasters competitions. And Nola wasn't old enough. She did once I got in leadership because I just brought her with me anyway. But that's what happens when you don't pick the thing that people think is grand, then people don't think it's grand. So if I had been quartermaster, African Americans go to quartermaster, ordnance, AG, the men go into infantry sometimes. But as an African American woman going to be an MP, and Kevin, you know this, you're going law enforcement, they're like, whoa, what the hell, what's that about? What you doing with that? And because I was an MP and an officer, my family was enlisted, wasn't nobody supporting that at all. I'm 5'0" and an officer? Nah, we can't support that. So then they kind of downplay it. It is what it is. But as you mentioned, Regina, over here in the land of real leaders, we support you as long as it's not immoral or illegal. Go off and do whatever you want. Go to clown college. Go right ahead. Be the best bozo clown that you can be. Get out those little bitty cars and go make people happy if that's what your heart desire is. So why don't people take the time to understand their weaknesses? This is some great information. People often avoid understanding their weaknesses due to fear of discomfort, ego protection, or lack of self-awareness. And what you'll notice is that what we keep seeing is why don't people, and then the answer is ego. That has been a trend. Why don't people, and we're going to get a self-awareness or self-esteem or ego. So the don't and the ego are there together. They are like salt and pepper, peanut butter and jelly, Kool-Aid and sugar. They are there together. So people don't want to understand it because of fear of discomfort, that protecting that big ass giant ego, or lack of self-awareness. And to go back to Sabrina's question, self-awareness, that's why I tell you to check in with yourself at a minimum 15 minutes a day. That's why the 2 questions at the end of every live is, what did you learn? And what did you learn about yourself? Because I'm doing that on purpose for you to wire a new neural pathway that says, I got to start thinking about myself. I got to start assessing me. What did I learn about me today? Because there isn't a class on that. Even when people are like, I love myself, you don't. Because if you love yourself, you're going to attack your weaknesses. If you love yourself, flaws, warts, character defects, generational curses, you're going to address all that shit because it's stopping you from becoming your best. So that's why you're checking in. That's why I'm doing the self-reflection. That's why I had to detach from my immediate family because they kept causing problems. And I'm a Christian and the Bible says forgive them. I'm saying I can't forgive a motherfucker that keep doing it. When I can forgive it if it stopped. But if it keep going, this is who they are. I can't forgive that. And here you go again, and here you go again. And you got to repent because they're Christians too. You're supposed to repent and stop, not keep doing it. And I just keep saying, no problem, no problem, no problem. But I know that I would not be live right now if I was still talking to them. I know that I would not have viral videos or anything else because 3 years ago I wasn't doing lives. I didn't have viral. I did have some, but Jiffy channel and stuff, but I didn't have viral videos on YouTube or TikTok, and I was still on those platforms because they were stopping me. So that self-awareness and that self-reflection, I would still be trying to fill in the back of my, no, I wouldn't. But I was told at one point I needed to fill in the back of my eyebrows, get the little tails to do all that. Fuck that. I got my daddy's eyebrows. It is what it is. If you don't want to talk to me because of how my eyebrows look, that's on you. I'm not doing all that anymore. So the point is, when you are practicing self-awareness, you know who you are so people can't tell you who you're not. Now, I'm sure if you talk to people from my past, they would say she's always been this way. And even when I'm asking, no, I'll get off live and I'll say, well, could you tell? She's like, you're the same. You're the same all the time. So what's happening in my head isn't necessarily transparent out here, but it's what people said to me. Yes, it's what people said. So what they said is still here, but I have this automatic shut off that, okay, y'all might have hijacked my amygdala, but I need to go get this doctorate. Y'all might have hijacked my amygdala, but I need to go get this one block. I need to go be top of my class. I need to go and do this shit. And the one thing about my college transcripts is you could tell the further I got away from that toxic ass fucking family, the higher my GPA got. So I graduated from high school with a 3.02. And then college, same thing, 3.0 something, because I was still at their house. But then my master's degree is a 3.8, and my doctorate is a 3.95. So you could tell where the problem was. So it wasn't that I wasn't smart. I just had to come home to a toxic environment. I had to deal with those toxic people. And some would say, well, that ain't bad. I mean, you did have A classes. You was taking the hardest teachers. So some of that was because of the constraints that you were putting on yourself. And so I'm saying self-awareness has to be there every day. I'm saying check in. You can't afford not to check in with yourself with the climate in America alone or the adult population. In a 17-hour day, if you can't take 15 minutes to check in with yourself to see what the fuck is going on with you and your brain, then you really got some losers that you need to leave. You got some people that need to go away. If you don't have 15 damn minutes, you can't even watch a TV show, streaming or otherwise, 15 minutes on internet. You don't have 15 minutes for you in a day that you're never going to see again. You can't take 15 minutes. Something is wrong. That means you got a bunch of unaccountable people around you and they got to go. And I'm saying it because I did it. Number 2, the next one about why people don't take the time to understand their weaknesses. Facing flaws can feel threatening and it challenges your self-image or your confidence. Facing flaws. That's why I ain't got no damn makeup on. I have this on and I talk to an esthetician. As soon as I get this dark part of my head, I'm going to be bald. Walking around, it's too fucking hot here. I'm having hot flashes. I got this damn skull cap on, but I just don't like the way it looks because I got OCD and it's not even. That's the only reason why. These are my eyebrows. They're not going nowhere. Look at these big ass teeth. I got little nail beds and my hands. I'm about to be 52 here in a minute. This is it. I'm embracing it all. I got long arms, long legs, and no damn hips and an apple bottom. That's what you get. 8.5 size shoe. And I've been a 0 and a 2 a couple of times. I was overweight, but that's it. This is me. I got a deep, loud voice and I'm ghetto lecturer. I'm from the streets and I'm from the suites and all points in between. That's what that is. If you don't like it, I don't really care. So your flaws, this whole illusion of perfection and everything else stops you from saying, wait a minute. I stopped getting my nails done. I didn't like my nail tech anyway because it was my mother's nail tech. And I'm like, I use my phone too much. I'm not about to, and the acrylic nails mess your nails up anyway. And if you want to do that, go ahead. But don't say something wrong with me because I don't. Because I like my fingertips. So again, facing the flaws and your self-images and all of that. And it's like, oh my goodness, what about my confidence? And I can't walk outside without having on the woo and the poo. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I am more confident now with no watches, no diamonds, I put on some earrings so my holes won't close up, and that's it. That is it. And I was dressed a little bit the other day, and I had several gentlemen callers saying hello to me in the grocery store. Well, hey, how you doing? Hey, good morning to you. Top of the morning. And I'm just getting oranges and Smiths and leaving, running my errands for the day. That's what's happening. As a young person, we're dependent on, heavily influenced by our family environment. Chaos is challenging when you want to be better and be your best. I agree, Regina. And because that's why I called my grandmother when I was 11 and I said, I need to get baptized, because I knew I was going to need something bigger than myself to deal with that toxicity in my family. Sure did. And everybody, I went to the Kingdom Hall. If your family had a church, y'all go to church on Sunday. Where you going on Saturday? Oh, it was a Saturday service? Shh, I'm going. Your family going? Because I knew there was no way that I was going to make it in that doggone household, in that family. So you got to get bigger. You need to believe in something bigger than yourself to get out of those doggone situations. All right, the next one is, many prioritize strengths to maintain a positive narrative and avoid a vulnerability. Unaccountable people are good at telling you what they're good at. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm good at. And I'm looking at you saying the emperor has no clothes on. You got 75 flaws and one thing that you do well. We just gonna keep celebrating that shit? You had an accomplishment in 1972? Absolutely not. Because they don't want to feel vulnerable. I feel vulnerable. I'll show y'all everything. Because that's where the strength is. The strength is insane. Uncle Jerry didn't give me shit. 4.38 with 8 damn classes on my way to basic training that summer. Nothing. No recognition whatsoever for 1B. 7 A's and 1B. I wish I had the bit. My mother mailed me the report card at basic training and I lost it at basic training. So it's the only reason why I don't have that report card. All right. The next one is social pressures and comparison culture also discourages honest self-reflections and pushes people towards denial or distraction. That's what happens. I'm all this social pressure. You go on social media, people building all this shit, they pulling up and all this and doing all this everything. And so you're like, I don't have that. I don't even have a car right now. And I don't think I need one. I don't need one. I don't know if I'm going to get one. If I do, it's going to be a damn Kia Soul. Because I get in and out, low maintenance and everything. And I've said that. So now you're comparing yourself and you're saying, oh my God, they look so good at 52, at 73, and 92. And boy, they look, and that's because that's the part that they're showing. And that's why my subscriptions, because I've had to figure out what to do with Instagram and TikTok, is $10 a month. And y'all go see me wake up and do a nasal rinse, not the actual thing, but prepare for my day. Because there is nobody out here for real saying the day looks like this. The day looks like this. We got a white refrigerator that y'all gonna see in our house that still works. And we're not getting another one until that motherfucker breaks. Because the whole thing is, I can't show my shit because I don't live in $1 million house and I don't have the stainless and the marble tops and this. I'm a bad motherfucker with old furniture, living in a cool neighborhood, doing things with my daughter, and that's what you're going to see. And that's growth for me. And it ain't a matter of praising Dr. Donna, but I don't show my shit. The military in the hood, I'm like, y'all ain't saying my life. Shit, ain't nobody come. But I got to get past that. And so me challenging, but this is a challenge for me, but I'm not about to just be putting it out there all willy-nilly. No, you want access. You want to see what I'm doing. This is how I get that done. Because somebody needs to say it. So you need to see me walking down the rail that needs to be painted, but the thing is metal. So every time you put paint on it, it goes away between the shea butter, because why would you make it metal and the paint? They should have made it wood. But anyway, 1997 is when this house was built. So you're going to see that. Our carpet needs to be clean. You're going to see that because that's our everyday life. And nobody wants to see that. That's why I get on lives every day with the same 4 t-shirts from Amazon on and this wig that's 4 years old. Because you all are experiencing greatness by yourself. You don't need to see me in a damn suit. You don't need to see me dressed up. You're here because of what I'm saying is working in your life. And that's what's important. And that's what I'm going to start showing people. Because this other social pressure comparison shit is some bullshit. Then time constraints. So people don't understand their weaknesses because of time constraints, lack of guidance, or introspective further hinders the process. And I got to wrap it up because we got 2 more pages to go. Okay, so the time constraints. I said that if you can't give yourself 15 minutes a day, you got too many unaccountable people in your life. Too many unaccountable people in your life. And the last one is embracing weaknesses falters growth, resilience, and better decision makings. And people know that, but they refuse to do it. So you don't want, I don't want to talk about that. No, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. Okay, well, that's why you're going to be average and regular. All right, what questions do you have about why people don't take the time to understand their weaknesses? They avoid it because the understanding their weaknesses makes them uncomfortable, their ego. They don't want to look at their flaws. They want to keep focusing on their strengths. The social pressure says don't do that because you will appear to be weak. Time constraints, and embracing it will keep you growing and help you make better decisions. But then that everything I'm saying requires new neural pathways, and that could be exhausting. I don't care. You need to strengthen. When you first start going to the gym, you're going to be exhausted. Your weak ass muscles are going to make you exhausted. And it's called cognitive overload on purpose, because what I'm telling you to do is happening up here. And then you'll see it out here. For those of y'all, and Kevin, I'm going to say this. Kevin made an amazing video yesterday. Y'all need to go check it out. Amazing. I'll never comment on his videos, and I don't really comment on nobody's videos, but he got a bravo and a hand clap for that doggone video, because I know what it took for him to make that doggone video. I know how many walls and barriers mentally he had to break down in order to say that publicly and do that in that time frame, to be able to get to day 22, to be able to do that. And that's why he got a bravo, because I know what it took. Definitely growth beyond growth, beyond growth, beyond growth. And he didn't know that that was in him 22 days ago, when he thought he was just watching videos and making videos. All you have to do is watch a video and make a 2-minute video. That's what I said. Okay, so how to leverage your strengths more effectively. Number 1, reflect on your peak moments. And that's why I'm going back and looking at everything that I've done. Your peak moments. Reflect on those. And really, yes, I'm telling you, watch it and take a tissue with you, because you might do the cute cry too, Regina. Yeah. So reflect on your peak moments. Ask yourself, when did I feel most energized, confident, and successful? And look for patterns or activities or roles where you naturally thrive. That's what you do. I'm going to look at when I was doing grand shit. Number 2, ask for feedback. So trusted people that you trust. On his TikTok channel, if you go to TikTok, it's his video from yesterday, day 22. Yeah, it's on his TikTok channel, Sabrina. He's Kevin Hook on TikTok. So if you just go, that's his video. You don't have TikTok. Oh, no. I think you can still. Let me see. I will email you the link, and you still should be able to watch it if you don't have TikTok, if I'm not mistaken. You should still be able to see the video. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nola. Okay, so you're going to ask for feedback from somebody that you trust. Yes, it's TikTok day. He hasn't done his day 23 video, so it should be the first video in his feed. Yes. No pressure, right, Kevin? No, he's like, this ain't no Oscar performance. Yes, but y'all should still be able to, hopefully y'all can see it. I don't know if you put it on Facebook, if y'all got Facebook. Kevin, if you put it on Facebook, let us know. All right, ask for feedback. So sometimes you have to ask others for feedback because they can see your strength clearly. That's what Sabrina has said. You all have said that to me. I can't see it. Nola has said it. So then you ask for feedback and people will tell you what it is. Number 3, you could take a strength assessment. I had to do this at church and at Frito-Lay. You can take an assessment. So it's the Clifton Strengths Assessment, the VIA character strength, or most people know the DIS assessment, and they can help you identify core talents. Number 4, track what energizes you. So pay attention to tasks that make you feel it's simple for you to do, or you enjoy it, or you're in the zone. That's how you know that's a strength for you. If it's simple for you to do, you're like, oh, this is great. Or you're like, man, I just zoned in and did that doggone thing. And strengths usually leave you feeling stronger, not drained. So anytime you've done something and you don't feel drained, it was simple for you and everybody else looking at you like, how the hell you do that? That's how you know that it is an actual strength. Number 5, reframe your current role. So look for ways to apply your strengths more often, even in small tasks. Reframe your current role. So Nola will tell me that she can't do something driving, and I've watched her do it while she's assembling. I can't use both my hands when I'm driving, and I'm like, you're ambidextrous when you're assembling. Take that same assembled skill. So I take this thing that she is amazing at, and I say, so when you're assembling, bada bada bada, this is that. Now, this is how you use that skill over here to strengthen this area over here. So take the thing that you're good at and say, oh, How can I take this skill and apply it over here where I'm not as strong at? And that's how you strengthen the areas that you're weak in. Number 6, build on small wins. So use your strength to gain momentum. Even a small success using your natural talent builds confidence and empowers you. So I was good in math, wasn't good in reading. But I knew that if I can excel in math, I'm going to be able to excel in reading at some point. And so I just kept reading and kept reading. And now on Threads all the time, people ask for strategies. I have several videos to tell you how to read a book in a week. I have suggestions for you. Start with books less than 200 pages, break it into 7 days, and you end up reading about 28 pages a day, reading in the morning, reading in the afternoon. Boom, you got a book read a week. And don't try to start reading Harry Potter and 50 Shades and all that, because it's just too thick. So start with books that are easy, simple to understand, and have a lower reading comprehension level. So build on small wins. That's number 6. And number 7, set strength-based goals. So with Nola, we take her strength in assembly, and like I mentioned, we show her how to apply it. So now I take the strengths, and the hardest thing I've had to do, because I'm now contributing to my 2 broadcast channels on Instagram, and I'm now contributing to my subscriptions on Instagram and TikTok, is I've had to decrease the amount of what I'm publishing in the public platforms on my social media platforms. So I was up to 85, 90 times a day posting. Now I'm down to about 50 times. And so that was difficult for me to do, but I need to take all of that other posting time and put it over here, building up these other 2 new things, the broadcast channels and my subscriptions of my daily life, because I know how to post on social media. It's nothing for me to do that, but now I have to do it under these different types of formats. So I'm taking what I've done over there and putting it on these 2 new areas that I'm not that familiar with. And that's why I'm technically waiting until June, because I said May 1st, but I want there to be 30 something days worth of video footage in my subscription, so that you aren't there going, well, when's she gonna post again? Well, damn, when's she gonna post again? Well, when's she gonna post again? Plus, I need 21 days of me posting in it, just so that habit is inside of me. So what questions do you have about how to leverage your strengths more effectively? Number 1 is reflect on your peak moments. Number 2 is ask for feedback. Number 3 is take strength assessments. Number 4 is track what energizes you. Number 5 is reframe your current role. Number 6 is build on small wins. And number 7 is set strength-based goals. So we'll email the link. Let me do that now before I forget. Write a note, because neither one of y'all will have the link. Should feedback be asked to anyone you are connected with, or just my immediate supervisor? Feedback should be asked, and solicited feedback is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. You need to ask for feedback from people you deem best. And those are the only people that you ask for feedback. So people that are operating consistently at their 100% best. Now, yes, you need to ask your supervisor, because they're going to tell you here are the areas that you need to improve in. But what you're looking for is performance-focused feedback, not constructive, which is destructive feedback. No, you are seeking to improve your performance or your behavior for professionally, and then personally, you're looking to become better overall. So for example, I'm really good at making social media. So if someone asked me, oh, Dr. Donna, how do you make social media? They would seek me out, because I'm one of the best people at it, and I'm going to tell them what to do. So if you're learning how to cook, you go to the person who is best at cooking that you are aware of. So when you're doing this, you're seeking out how to become your best, because be the best is the objective of daily personal accountability. So if your supervisor isn't the best supervisor, then you don't seek feedback from them. You go and talk to the best supervisor and get that information. And so that's why I took Dr. Gibson, because she was the best business teacher on the new side of the building for business administration majors. So you seek it out, whoever that best person is, because the people that excel already have strategies in place. Not the experts, not the people who look like they're the best, but the people who are actually best. That's who you go and ask information for when soliciting feedback. Okay, Last thing, coming around third, please let me know if I've answered your question, is how can you understand your weaknesses? Number one, most important, practice self-reflection. 15 minutes or more a day, and ask these two questions. What did I avoid, and where do I consistently fail? What do I avoid, and where do I consistently fail? Because you're not going to be able to understand your the assessment that I did was the DISC assessment, the DISC, and it's an acronym. That's the one I used at Frito-Lay. And you should be able to get one free online by now. So practice self-reflection every day. What did I avoid today, and where do I consistently fail? And what happens is your failures are walls. And I've said that you get to these walls, these growth walls, and either you break them down or you break down. And if you break down, you start decorating it, and then you turn around and act like it's not there. So anything that you are avoiding is attached to your weaknesses. Anything that you are failing at is attached to your weaknesses. So let's just imagine that I let reading stop me. There is nothing. I would not be here because there is no book. There is no 11th year book challenge. The information that I have, I've read or participated in and experienced. So if I didn't used to talk to people till I was 11 years old. So if I avoided talking to people, I avoided reading, I avoided effectively communicating, and I avoided leadership like everybody else in my family, I'm not here today. So you got to knock those motherfucking walls down. That's what you got to do. You yourself, because they're your walls. You can bring company, but that's not going to knock down your wall. That's not going to knock down your growth opportunity. Your breakthrough, you have to break through. That's why it's a wall there, because you got to break through that and get on the other side of that. And it only happens when you sit down 15 minutes a day and do your self-reflection. What are the two questions you ask again? What am I avoiding? And where do I consistently fail? Because those are your walls. Okay, and then number two is to seek feedback, which you asked, Sabrina. So you're going to ask people that you trust. Establish trust and be trustworthy is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So you're only going to ask people that you trust, who have your best interest, somebody who just wants the best for you, not somebody who is quid pro quo and this for that. Well, I'm going to tell you this, but later on you're going to owe me. No, fuck it. Keep the information. I don't want it. You can have it. No, I freely give out information. Somebody on Threads was saying, why is everybody gatekeeping information? I said, I got 11,300 YouTube videos. I ain't gatekeeping shit. People just don't want to be personally accountable. You might not like what I'm saying on the video, but the information is there. You're not gatekeeping if you offering 11,300 and counting videos. That's not happening. So again, trusted people that are best and want the best for you. Number three, analyze your failures. A lot of people don't want to sit back and analyze how that shit go left. When Nola has had appointments that went left, we do an after action review. When I look back at my life, okay, put the steel bat down and the tire iron. Stop fighting people, okay? That's no bueno. You can't be a commissioned officer in the Army fucking people up. That's not good for you, okay? You can't. How did that relationship end? What did I do? I don't want that to be repeated again. Let me see what it is that I need to do. So assess it. Look at the mistakes and do better. When you know better, you do better. That's why I said don't do anything without a strategy, because if you have a strategy, you just adjust the strategy. And if none of the strategy worked, that whole strategy doesn't work. So here's what does work. So I don't read New York Times bestsellers books until people have totally forgotten about them. Everybody reads it, everybody gets the same information, and then everybody forget that information. A book has to be 2 to 3 years old for me to even begin to think to start reading it. It's like, now, when was that made? 2025? I ain't reading shit from 2022, 2023, 2024, and definitely not 2025. If I get it, I'm going to save it. Because you got, and now everybody's doing the exact same thing. So you are not going to learn from that at all. Not at all. Because y'all all going, if it's a fail, then everybody going to fail at the same time. So give it time. All right, number 4, observe emotional triggers. We just watched me have an emotional trigger. My Uncle Jerry's ass withholding things, telling me that a 3.8 ain't good enough. And so these triggers just happen. Go get my hearing tested, and now I have this PTSD moment. And so notice those situations that cause you frustration and defensiveness or the avoidance, And these often reveal underlying weaknesses. That's why if the cry comes up, it's coming out. And to Kevin's point, it's the ugly cry and the cute cry. So if it's the ugly cry, that means I was unaware that it was there and I got to do something about it. That initial PTSD, that moment lasted emotionally for about 3.5 days, because I was like, well, damn, look at all that was pressed down there, but it's coming up and coming out. I'm not leaving that in there because it's not going to stop me from being my best. Number 5 is to compare to best, not to other people. Unaccountable people, we talked about the thought leaders and all these other experts out here because the actual experts are invisible. And now you over here comparing yourself to Marie Forleo's ass, and you don't know that she stole B School from somebody and she used to be a doggone MTV dancer or something, one of them hip hop dancers in videos. And now everybody's just like, oh, B School, and I want to be just like, what's that origin story? What's that origin story? That's what I want to see. So actually make sure that the person is best. Go to Wikipedia and go to LinkedIn. You're going to find out a lot. And then you can go, I don't know if I want to be following them. I don't know if I want to be listening to their information. Because that dopamine boost make you feel like, ooh, this is a good idea. This is a good idea. And now you're trying to figure out why it's not working. So study people excelling in areas that you struggle with. Identify gaps in your skills, habits, or mindsets. And that's what I said to you, Sabrina. The best. Who's the best cook in the family? Who manages the money the best? All of that. And it may be in your family, it may not. You may have to reach out to somebody on social media, online somewhere. I used to talk to strangers. I didn't care. Hey, how you get that? What you doing? What did you do? Okay, cool. Thank you. And then number 6 is experiment and test. Try new tasks or challenges to expose limitations, stepping outside of comfort zones and highlights or your areas of growth. So I am literally have been stepping out of my comfort zone since I left my corporate job, and I am experimenting what works best. This live format is what works best, experimenting with my subscriptions to see what's going to work best. And that's where I am. Because when you do that, you're going to attack these weaknesses that are attacking you. And then number 7, work with an expert. Experts can guide you, provide introspection, and they uncover hidden weaknesses and provide actionable strategies. And that's what I will say. That's what I do. It feels like you might just be signing up for a PA challenge. Kevin thought he was signing up for a turnaround risk video challenge, and initially he was. But what I have been given by higher power, God in the universe, is the ability to find the holes, the weak points. Remember, I was in the military. I'm looking for weak points to attack those weak points. And for you, it's a good thing because you get to strengthen it. If you were my enemy, I would fuck you up. But you are not my enemy. So I'm saying that's the weak point right there. Here is how you strengthen that. Here's a resource to strengthen that. But that is the thing with personal accountability and real leadership, is that you have to uncover those weaknesses so that you can have actionable strategies. And it's going to be painful. I tell people I can find your Achilles heel real quick and step on it with a 4.1-inch platform stiletto velvet boot. Because it's painful. Like, shit. All right, no, I'm good. And then I hear, well, this is great, Dr. Donna, but I think that I've had enough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on. Okay, cool. Got it. Roger that. So that means you're decorating your wall. Okay. Thank you. Here's your certificate. Please fill out this closeout survey. Thank you very much. And as we saw the other day, it's 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 people are not going to hold themselves personally accountable. And I don't take it personal. I used to. I was like, damn, why they leave? They was doing good and they was fine. And I don't, because it's personal accountability. It is personal accountability. And if you've gotten to a wall and you're not ready to attack it and break it down, then that's between you versus you. This train has to continue to move because I got to keep staying ahead because there are more people coming, and I need to have information for those people who are coming, and I need to create resources for them. So in summary, how can you understand your weaknesses? Number 1, practice self-reflection. Number 2, seek feedback. Number 3, analyze your failures. Number 4, observe emotional triggers. Number 5, compare it to the best. Number 6, experiment and test. And number 7, work with an expert. In summary, consistency opens to discomfort and growth and a growth mindset. Accepting weaknesses without judgment allows for meaningful improvement. And that's what I intend, or my hope every day, is to show you flaws and all, sleepy, tired, all of that. I'm here every day. Today is my day 548 consecutive days of being live. And there is a lot that has happened in 548 days in my life, in the world, and everywhere else. And I've been here every day. saying this is personal accountability. This is how you can work through it. And I've come all the way to the point where now it's neurological and I understand that. And so this ability to the point where I got to go get a neuroscience certificate now just to understand the brain even more. 32 weeks. I don't feel like doing that shit, but it's necessary. In order for me to say, please use it, let's do this, I got to go and get the information from a creditable source. So I have to go seek out the best. All right, what questions do you have? And then the final two questions today, what did you learn and what did you learn about yourself today? And we will get out of here. So what questions do you have, if any? If you don't, it's good. And then what did you learn today and what did you learn about yourself today? And I am finished with yet another notebook today. Oh, this weather is so kooky here. It's cold outside, turned the heat on. Now I'm having a hot flash. It's only going to be in the 60s today. And by Saturday, it's going to be in the damn 90s. Gotta love spring in the desert. Not complaining, just trying to have wardrobe selection. That's it. Start out the day in winter clothes and end the day in summer clothes, spring clothes. And while y'all are going, so when I had my surgery to get my tubes tied and they nicked my small intestines and I got peritonitis and almost died, they had to cut 10 inches off my small intestines. And I was in the hospital for 13 days. I lost 18 pounds. My Uncle Jerry did come and see me in the hospital. And now y'all can imagine I'm no food, no NPO, no food, no water for 13 days. And I literally, even in my sickness, he was having an honest conversation with me. And I told him, when I get out this hospital bed, I'm riding it till the wheels fall off. And I explained that to him. And I said, this is my moment where if I make it through this, I'm not looking back at all. And I'm telling him this and he's listening. And, you know, he had literally always drove Lincolns his entire time. He could be the Lincoln lawyer. Haha. He came back to the hospital 2 days later and said, Didi, because I wasn't Dr. Donna yet, you know, I was listening to what you were saying and I just went and got a Jag. Went and bought a Jag. Now I'm in the hospital. This person, and I had already been through my divorce and we had some other interactions, but literally I'm laying in the bed sick as a dog saying, yeah, you gotta, because you just gotta live life. You just never know. You just never know. And then I then inspired this person to go and get a Jaguar in 2007 when all he ever drove was Lincolns. So my point is that you can still help others even when you need help yourself. So if Jesus could minister to people on the cross, I could do that from my hospital bed with no food and no water, losing weight. What the fuck? Okay. Regina said, well, this is a lot of information and I'm still processing. I learned that self-assessment is a powerful and necessary tool if you want to be your best. I must do the work. You have to do the work. You owe it to yourself to do the work. You owe it to yourself to be the best as you can be. Kevin, today learn to check in with myself for 15 minutes every day. At a minimum. At a minimum, it's 15 minutes. If you can get to an hour, go ahead. 2 hours is grand. And talk to yourself. It's okay. It's okay if you answer too. You said trifling uncle. Wow, Regina. It's not that. People just, when he got raised by the people from the greatest generation. My grandfather, Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, wasn't the most easiest person to get along with. My grandmother was drunk. She used to drink a fifth of Wild Irish Rose every day. She died at 53 of cirrhosis of the liver. So when you come from those environments, you don't know what to do. Plus, I believe that my uncle is gay, and he is 70, and my mother about to be, he got to be 73 and has still not come out yet. So when you're struggling with that too, we thought he was going to do it when my grandfather died in 2014, and he didn't. So he's just going to take it to the grave. He is not. I would agree with that. Definitely would agree with that. He gonna die in the courtroom. But none of them are. Because if you didn't get what you need and you didn't seek it out yourself, how you gonna be happy? Noah said, I learned reflection is important to understand your strengths, to see yourself and what you're good at, and also understanding your weaknesses because you have to reflect to improve them. That is correct. That is 100% correct. If I didn't do it, there is no Dr. Donna sitting before you today. Because Dee Dee from the D, I don't know where she would be. Caught looking for a fight, for sure. Looking for somebody to beat the shit out of, without a doubt, for really minor infractions at this point. Nola said, I learned for myself. I have improved at telling people what's outside of my skill set, which is understanding my weaknesses and also not taking business from other people. Yep. Because before you didn't do that. 3 years ago, you were signing up for all kind of shit that you did not have the technical competence to do. And be technically competent is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. It is, and it's there on purpose. So here's what I will say, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to a close. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Real leadership is the shit. It really is. It is oxygen. It's penicillin. It's touchscreens, technology. It is AI for human. Whatever other product is out there, this is the product for to make human beings evolve. Will it take time for people to get there? Yes. Hopefully I got another 40 years to see it through and two. But this is how you heal. This is how you get on the other side of this unaccountable negativity bias wired brain to the other side, where you can actually think positive for real, where you can actually see real change in your life and you can actually become your best. That's what this is about. That's what it's here for. And I will continue to do this. I will not be doing anything else because the world needs this. The 3 out of 4 people need it. They don't know it, but they do. And you need to knock these walls down, because you can spend the rest of your life like my mean and surly Uncle Jerry, who's turning into Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, or you can become the person that you came here to be, and you can get free from all of these things that other unaccountable people have done to you, on purpose or not on purpose. Who knows why unaccountable people do what they do? But your life is not going to improve. It's not going to get better if every time a growth opportunity shows up, you decorate the wall instead of knocking it down. You avoid the weaknesses. You act like that's not an issue. You let shame stop you from living your truth. It's unacceptable. It is unacceptable because everybody came here born to do something grand. And then they either spend their life doing it or they spend their life avoiding it. And it's not easy being Dr. Donna. It's not. It's not. At no day do I wake up like, oh, this shit is simple. This is easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's easy as shit being me. It's not. But it shouldn't be easy for anybody to be themselves when you're your real self, because of the work that it takes. Farmers will tell you, and Kevin knows this, it's not easy planting a whole farm and making sure you got to keep out the unwanted animals and pesticides and, insects and everything else. That's not easy. But that harvest, when that harvest comes, when you got a bumper crop, oh my goodness, it starts raining everything for you. And that's what life is about. If you get to the end of your life, and it's in the tools, the book, The Tools, if you get to the end of your life and you got some coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn'ts on your list, then you failed yourself. You failed yourself. Point blank period, you failed yourself. And that's how that goes. So I will go to my grave talking about personal accountability. I will stand 10 toes down on personal accountability, because this is how we change human beings. This is it. It ain't shit else. There is nothing else. I don't care who your gurus are. I don't give a fuck about your life coaches, your experts, or nothing else. I know what my strengths are. I know who I am. I know what I've created. I know I got blue magic. If you watched American Gangster, this is it. And there is nothing better. This is how you fix you. You become your best. And then everything else that you do just makes it better. It's just all the garnish and everything else on your life. And that's it. And it took me this long getting here and understanding my strengths and my weaknesses, to be able to say that. Even with everything else that's taken place, I know that this is why I was born and this is what I came here to do. And can't nobody else do this but me. And I will continue to do it. And it ain't even a matter of sitting. I know I've been saying sit me on a panel. You can't. With who? I don't have no peers. You can't sit me on a panel with nobody because I didn't teach them how to be personally accountable. So what we talking about? Nothing. Okay, so you all go off and have a great, magnificent Monday and do grand things. Make sure from this day forward, you are taking that 15 minutes to reflect on your strengths and your weaknesses, embrace all your flaws, and seek best day in and day out. I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power, and the universe, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t shirt. Have a magnificent Monday.